देवी सती पोनु पिने हिमवान मगनाय पिरयु I just feel so privileged and completely privileged to have her as my mother, and but most of the time I'm always aware of her not less of a mother, and I'm more aware of how great an artist she is.
How embarrassing. I think that's just true. I mean, I don't agree there, because I think my journey as a Mohiniyattam dancer has been just the way, what Mohiniyattam has given me. It has complemented me with a certain identity, a certain importance, and a certain purpose in life. I don't belong to Kerala, the land from which Mohiniyattam belongs to. And so I was able to look at it very objectively. What are the areas it needed to be revived or rejuvenated or whatever.
Mohiniyattam chose her because it was waiting for, it needed a person with tremendous intensity for this kind of work to happen. So it never found that person, because so many people who did before her, but nobody thought so intensely. So Mohiniyattam, it was waiting for the right person. That you're not on the stage, that's the real test of grace, isn't it? are not even 1/1,000,000th of what she does, because this is the real test of a dancer. In Indian classical dance, moving the body is simple, but to put in emotion, you can't cheat there. So it's most difficult, and her forte is expression.
The gentle movements of Mohiniyattam, while they are very soft and gentle, they have a certain inner power.
What goes on in your mind when you're dancing?
But I feel, this dance form demanded my entire self to it, which other style did not. Like, for example, I can demonstrate it if you like. It's so much easier to demonstrate than to speak. And like in Bharatanatyam, for example, it is always angular. Your body discipline is what it requires. Although the Bharatanatyam dancers don't think so, but I feel, because I was a Bharatanatyam dancer earlier, so I know what I'm talking about. But in Mohiniyattam, it's not like that. Because your entire thing is from the solar plexus, your center, from here. And all the movements are circular in nature. And patterns are created. The circular motion is kept throughout, whether it is half, semicircular, or a full circular, but everything. The movement, it doesn't start from here. It begins before the starting point, and then it finishes. It's so it needs a lot of it is dance with your heart, not your feet. So it's so difficult.
Yeah, it demands your heart.
It demands your heart. All my success, my work, everything, I owe it to my mother, because my mother has been a tremendous source of inspiration and gave me a lot of strength. Because she herself is an artist, so she as an artist could understand my what I was going through and what I was trying to look for, and she encouraged me and supported me in every way. And also back home, she held the fort for me by looking after my daughter, who was very young at that time while I was away in Kerala.
Like, she's my mother, you are her mother.
She's a musician herself, and she also has had the inspiration from her mother, from her family, where a certain dance drama tradition which has been continuing for many years in her family.
her dream and our dream is to take Mohiniyattam to audiences beyond India. Not even so many people, even in the US, are open to things like this. It's more popular culture and it's not easy. I mean, you might think that, oh, of course, in the US it would be so much easier, and it's a very rich country, and it's not easy. Find that the issues are really the same everywhere in the world. Anything quality work, there are very few takers. I've been talking to so many organizers, and they've all said we have to cut down our events. I spoke to this person who's in the World Music Institute in New York. And he said, you won't believe what I'm doing right now, Vijaya. I'm actually cutting down concerts. Our funding has stopped. The counties are not giving money anymore. And some organizations are even going bankrupt. So everywhere it's a terrible financial crunch. So it's not the best of times to really go about hoping to get programs. The government of India has a lot of schemes for artists, and they give salary grants to artists if they have a permanent troupe, and if an institution has been running for several years, then the government gives a salary grant. Also allots houses to eminent and very distinguished artists. We're very grateful, and otherwise it's very, very tough.
The only opposition I did not have was my child. And she was one support enough to face the whole world opposing me. Because she was such a strength and such a support to me. And emotionally and professionally, on stage and off stage, she was my confidant, she was my best friend, and she was my everything. Although she was only 10 when I started the Mohiniyattam project, but she's been a witness to the entire development, to the entire work that I, went into it. So she is part of this whole research.
Like the one who so...
No, I'm right. So when they were together, it was such a beautiful sight that it was like lightning, so bright. Not her face.
Yeah, no, I was... The meaning, the literal meaning is this.
But Illama, you just see that if you look at the lines together. Tati Raja.
No, that is right, but she addresses Radha as the fair, complexioned one, like the light, so bright, like the... Such a person, when you... Because Sanskrit goes, the grammar goes from behind, na? So, such a person, when lying on the chest of Krishna, is like that. So, that's how it is.
In any case, beauty of it is that you can interpret whichever way you like.
Yeah.
There's no rigidity to it.
Yeah.
So it really depends. It's so flexible.
Yes.
And it's so open.
Yeah.
We need to take it beyond the Indian audience. I think that is crucially important right now.
Yes.
And that is what we hope to do in America, because people from every corner of the world are here. So that is an area where that's where we really want to have a breakthrough. That's what Mohiniyattam needs. This program is very special. several reasons, because this is our very first performance in LA. So it's very, very, very special. And second of all, it's also special because given that fact that we're from Delhi, from India, this dance form is a very rare dance form. And we've never had the opportunity to present it in this country. The nature of our work is such, it's not like a bank job where, you get transferred to another country. Your soul has to be there. And the soul is in India because that's where our work happens.
Shock absorber, I would say, of all my whatever happened in my life. I'm going to call you a shock absorber.
Oh God, I don't believe this. My mother's going to get a heart attack. And she's not even in town. You know what the problem was? It's at 5th Feb. So you psychologically think it's 5th Feb, right?
Yeah.
Come. You want to... I don't believe this. I've never done this. I've traveled so much. I'm not bragging, but I don't do this.
Oh, man.
And we thought, how smart. I chose the seat and he checked in 2 pieces.
No wonder it was so full because there was no... Remember, there were hardly any seats left and because that time they were checking people.
They were already checking.
Jesus.
Give me the number for the check-in counter, please. Yeah, this is Narayan. My wife is supposed to fly on this on the Cathay Pacific to Hong Kong tonight. I think she was supposed to fly last night. We thought the flight was today.
Because it was 5 minutes
Because
past
it was 5 minutes past midnight and we got confused and... No, she's not. We are not at the airport yet. Do we need to come early by so many hours or something? Or can we just... Because we haven't left yet? Alright, don't worry. So you'll be on standby. There's 2 flights to Hong Kong tonight. You'll get in somewhere. Okay, let's try.
That sounds fantastic.
Did you take your passport and your...
that's in my handbag.
Did I give you the passport? Whoa, let me get it. Hold on.
It's okay, it's not really heavy at all.
Where's the...
So we are going straight to the airport from
No.
the school?
Yeah, we go to the school.
But we take the suitcases with us? Oh. Keep it out. Okay.
4, please. Down the stairs. Thanks.
just spoke to your mom and dad.
Yeah,
So
oh
she
my
tried to console me.
So we have to run to the airport
But
now
the,
to
but
see.
the good thing is, she said, if you hadn't goofed up, then you wouldn't have been able to see their program. So,
But Mama, you missed your flight.
yeah, but
Good.
I'd rather hear you play. I'd rather hear you sing. You know what our dream would be? What my mother's dream is to dance to her piano. That's my mother's dream.
I haven't even told my teacher.
Nobody in our
You
family
should have
has
asked her
ever
to
touched a
come.
piano.
What?
She would have
Let
loved to
alone
come and
play.
see it.
Not even gone near it.
She would have, no? You should have told her. She would be so proud of you.
Ooh.
A piano teacher.
Oh,
You
yes,
could have
you
told her
must
piano
have.
teacher.
We feel so lost without each other. So it's very painful. It's very tough to not be able to be together the whole time. Coming here hasn't been very easy because I've lived, born and raised in a city like Delhi, and I have never lived anywhere else. And it's not been easy at all, actually. For any change is always a little painful initially, but then it is always for some higher purpose. So I guess something beautiful might come out of this. I'm very fortunate to have the support of my husband, who completely supports me, and even if it means that we don't see each other for more than half the year, he supports me tremendously. My daughter has supported me tremendously. I feel extremely fortunate. I do my best to do my bit as a wife and a mother. I try to look at life as a whole and not as compartmentalize it, where I'm only a dancer, therefore family and everything will come in the way, it'll take away from my art. I don't like to look at life like that. I like to look at life as a whole, and being a mother and a wife, I like to believe has enriched me as a dancer and as a human being, as a woman, and I'd like to take that experience to my dance. Practicing morning to night in this heat. It's been too much. गण जालवं शुकपोलवं जालवं Life is such a great celebration, and what can be a better way than to express that than through dance? And it's just such a great blessing, particularly now when, with the kind of all the stuff that we see in the world. I just feel so grateful to be alive, and doubly grateful to be able to dance. Devi Sati Ponu Pine Himavan Magalai Piranu Devi Sati Ponu Pine Himavan Magalai Piranu. Very often it happens with our blouses and the top portion, he does not get the nuances sometimes. That's difficult for him to get, even after so many years.
Legendary king of pop, Vijaylakshmi, passed away on Thursday, June 25th, 2009 at 2:26 p.m. It is believed he suffered cardiac arrest in his home. However, the cause of his death is unknown until results of the autopsy are known.
He was happy only on the stage. He was happy that bliss that he experienced.
And then we'll celebrate. I can't believe this. Actually, I'm so happy with this movement. I think it's very nice. This is very beautiful. It's a typical movement of a flower, a creeper. I think that's what we should do. Yeah, yes. It's so feminine. It looks very pretty. Like that.
I don't mind if we don't sway, but what will be really terrible is if we don't pick it on the right beat. Krishna Gana Sabha, which is probably the most prestigious venue to dance in Chennai. And it's in a place called T Nagar, which is the most buzzing parts of Chennai. just on our way to the auditorium. You know, the same place where we did Swan Lake? That same auditorium. Yeah. That one, Krishnagana Sabhana. That auditorium. You don't rehearse enough, we don't coordinate. If you're going 5 times, you do only 4 times, and you have to be so alert.
Right.
It's like cramming up for an exam with last minute without having prepared well in advance. That kind of feeling. Mohiniyattam is not so popularly seen there. They are very conservative audience. They know music and they know dance. Always the most burning thought in our minds. We should first do well, not let down our guru, not let down the dance form. And after we achieve all that, it's now like it's a new greed that we have to woo the audience and to get them on our side.
It is indeed a pleasure to begin the dance festival today. This item will be performed by Bharati Shivaji, Vijaylakshmi, Manjula, Mom Ganguly and Vinaya Manoj.
I'm feeling so light.
So light and relief. Tremendous relief and lightness. Because it was very tough to do.
Dashavatar is very, very tough.
And they put it together in 5 days.
And 4 people.
Yes.
Anybody would give an arm and a leg to perform here. Exactly.
Government of India.
They just called?
They just called, just now, that was the call. She was saying, you leave on 19th of October and you'll be there till 31st of October in Mexico, so that was the good news. I've danced there before in 86 with my mother, but I wanted to go as an accompanist. But now it'll be different because I'll be going there. I'll be leading the troupe, so this time it's different. I was more prepared for a solo with my musicians, but now they're saying that would you consider with a group of dancers? So I don't know. That's also nice. I told her that would be wonderful too, but I don't know. The only thing what happens is when you're always dancing in a group, then as a solo dancer, you're never really taken seriously. And for me to get solo opportunities is a very big thing. I need to do some solo shows too. So just as my contemporaries do. My contemporaries always dance alone with the musicians. They speak, they vote for it. But what happens is if you're always with a group, you're never taken so seriously. But I'm happy with the news, and I'll be so happy to dance with it. I guess ultimately it's not about me. It's about Mohiniyattam, the best. Did our best, and we tried to equip ourselves as best as we could, and I was happy with it.
It's my guru. It's my religion, it's my God, it's everything to me because I have evolved. I have evolved over the years through Mohiniyattam. My research which I started was under the guidance of a theatre person. He was not a guru in that conventional sense. he initiated me, introduced me to the various traditions of Kerala. And so that way I was able to go to the original source and collect all the materials, all the information and compile them and then come about with a new repertoire. Over the years it started gaining popularity, it gained a lot of recognition with the art critics, the dance world, the art world. Just then, when I thought my work was going very beautiful, my guru, he had a problem with me. I don't know. He did not feel that he was being duly acknowledged. For some reason, we drifted. I mean, he stopped working with me. I felt very stranded for some time, and suddenly I just was in a point where neither my work or my personal life was going to support me in any way, I don't belong to this region. I have taken up something very, very revolutionary. Whom am I going to work with and how? What is going to be my future? I didn't know. I thought I have to turn spiritual that time. And I went to a temple where feminine, power temple. And I thought, let me go and ask her, what should I do? Do I go back to my personal life and accept whatever is in store, or do I pursue my work? But because it's going to be difficult, without any support, how am I going to do it? And then I put a little chit there. This or that, what do I do? Whatever the answer the chit says, I will abide by that, I'll go by that. And so the chit said, pursue your work, just go back to your work.
But that is the most amazing thing, that how she's still been able to overcome it and keep her grace, not just on the stage but in life. I could never tolerate a man being rude or mean or disrespectful to a woman. I just couldn't, I still can't. And it started with my own father versus my mother, and she had a very, very rough time. So I think the male chauvinistic attitude that, only women cannot achieve it, women can't do it on their own kind of a thing. I think a lot of it has to do with that. If you talk about the greatest dance gurus of India, they're all male. However, this dance form is the only one which does not have a male guru. The oldest doyen was 90 years old, Kalyani Kutiyamma. She was a woman. So this is the only dance form. So it's just so powerful in its femininity that that's just the way it is. Mohiniyattam mean to me, what it has done to me. Like you rightly said, I inherited it from my mother. But I guess as one grows older, even if you inherit whatever you inherit, it has to ultimately mean something to you. And sometimes you really don't think about it. You just keep doing what you feel like. But then as I started growing older as a woman, I realized that Mohiniyattam is, while it's all very graceful and soft, that grace has tremendous power. That being feminine is not just being soft and graceful, it has tremendous power, which is why I started delving into experimenting with different forms of music and concepts which did not necessarily have the languishing, moping heroine that many of the items of her time had. I couldn't relate to that, very honestly. And so I started coming up with my own items where the woman was kind of fairly empowered.
she's a person with a terrific values, and she feels very strongly for a woman. She always chose those, concepts where the woman is highlighted.
Quite empowered, and in fact in one production of mine which was very revolutionary for its times about 10 years ago, the concept of Mohiniyattam, where I came up, where she was a real life Malayali woman who lived about 350 years ago. I introduced martial arts into Mohiniyattam. I could never imitate what she was doing. That felt very false as an artist. I could only portray what I completely believed in.
This one. Oh my God, it's too gorgeous.
Isn't it? And Amma, this side, I was just looking at Mother Shivaji bought it.
Oh my God.
Isn't this stunning,
this
Ma?
This is beautiful. Now this is the bottle green. Okay?
It's karuppu illa idu.
Alla, bottle green. Ille.
Acha, bottle green. You see, that's bottle green. Wow. Just like she said, music is the soul of any dance, and particularly for Indian dance, I think for any dancer. So you're always looking for inspiration to dance to. You listen to any great music, you feel, oh God, wish we could just dance, wish we could do Mohiniyattam to that music.
It was Bubbly, Vijayalakshmi's, suggestion that we should do Swan Lake in Mohiniyattam, which was totally scandalous for me because, oh my God, Western music to Mohiniyattam, oh no, certainly. So the very first reaction was that.
I've always been a great admirer of Western classical music. So I thought, what can be more beautiful than bringing Western classical music and Mohiniyattam together? That's how Swan Lake happened, because it was so haunting and so spiritual. I thought it was, I found it extremely spiritual.
Yes.
And for me, it was like being in a temple, listening to Tchaikovsky's music. And in fact, when we first listened to it, she was absolutely choked. She was in tears. She was so overwhelmed to listen to the music. We had about 20 dancers, and the costumes were redesigned, kind of modified to suit the concept. It took 2 years of background work. It was a big challenge because Indian music has a very codified rhythm, but the Western classical music is kind of arrhythmic. It's not that it doesn't have rhythm, but the rhythm is very different from the Indian system of rhythm. You had to do it by instinct. You couldn't say 2 times on the right, 2 times on the left. It was 2 times on the right, 1 1/4 on the left. But how can you teach that? You have to keep soaking in the music. We got a letter, we got a phone call from the government of India saying, we'd like you to present your Swan Lake at the Baur show. And I couldn't believe it. It's almost like, I think when the desire is always very strong and the desire is always very burning, and when there is truth to something, then it just happens. Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake at the Baur show. What could one possibly ask for more? I mean, it's every dancer's dream in every part of the world, isn't it? And the beauty of this dance form is that it can be traditional, at the same time it can also be contemporary. My grandmother's been such a great source of inspiration for me as an artist and as a woman. And I just love the way she has lived her life, and she's such a beautiful blend of being a traditional woman, traditional Indian woman, and being a very modern woman. I really love that combination about her. We've reached.
Of course, the greatest moment for Mohiniyattam was the Bolshoi, where we performed Swan Lake. It was the greatest moment of my life.
Is your experience different when you perform Mohiniyattam in Kerala? Because Kerala being its birthplace,
There are very great senior artists and senior gurus here, and before whom I have to perform. So it's a very humbling experience for me, because you are responsible for Mohiniyattam, and it has to be well received and well communicated and well conveyed to the audience.
So
it was wonderful to come back to Kalamandalam and also to meet people who helped me and supported and guided me, and to hear what they had to say about my work and what they understood of my work.
Ooh, MJ sir's going to kill us. He's so late. He's going to chop us into little bits. But he's been waiting for us since, I think, 8 in the morning. So he's going to be wondering what the hell we were doing so long.
Are there many fans for Mohiniyattam in the United States?
But Mohiniyattam has not been seen in the States at all.
That is true.
It's only Bharatanatyam. When we performed at the Norton Salmon Museum, the curator said Mohiniyattam I've not even heard. So it was so refreshing even for the Americans, let alone the
Because
Indians.
of the name Bharata, people think that this is India's dance. Because you must be knowing it better than me. Mohiniyattam was a lost thing in Kerala. only now it is coming up like this. I think it has a good future.
Because she could look at things that insiders, that the people in Kerala could not. Otherwise, why didn't Mohiniyattam blossom the way it did? Because she looked at it with such fresh eyes. And every little thing, what they eat, what they wear, how they talk, how they breathe, not just dance, how their cinema is. You know, she's watched so much of cinema, you know, what they talk everywhere, or how they sit, or how they even eat, every
even
little thing.
music, thala, and even vocal, this thing. Everything she was trying to bring back to the original, purely this regional flavor. But she stayed here, studied even Malayalam.
The Guruvayoor people don't like her very much because she is an outsider. Mohiniyattam is supposed to be a Kerala dance, no? And she is a Tamilian. That's one of the ways in which you organize your counter propaganda. So those people in Guruvayoor, they said, we are Keralites, and why should a Tamil lady come here to exhibit our dance? That was there, I think for some time it was there.
Yes, it was there. It was there.
And it may still be there, because I realized that she was born for that. She was made for dancing, and she had entered into the genius of Mohiniyattam.
Mohiniyattam is visual poetry. The romantic fragrance of its movements and music reflect the geography and the cultural ethos of Kerala.
Hello? Our Magalan dancer and Vijayalakshmi in
I know, it's been ages. Yes, certainly. Absolutely.
In fact, some of your the curriculum has your...
Yeah.
That's where Valluthu lived.
Yeah.
He lived there. And Mom and I performed there together many years ago. That was a lovely experience, no?
Yes.
The pure form which was lost. And Kalamandala was trying to revive it with available artists at that period. That is the main contribution of Bharati Shivaji. Her movement, her step. She knows that Lasya is the basic expression of Mohiniyattam.
Although I did learn other styles of dance like Bharatanatyam or Odissi, I did learn, but I did not feel that so much as I felt for this one particular dance form.
Because the origin of Mohiniyattam that we see today is all from this institution. Later on, we all have our own styles, our own interpretations, and the way we look at Mohiniyattam from different angles. It's the interest of the students that makes an art form. But my mother continued her music. She always used to sing. And in those days, in Brahmin families, the non-Brahmin were not allowed inside. That was the kind of conservative setup in these villages.
It was because of her that I am a dancer today. She would wake me up at 5 in the morning to teach me music. I thought this was all too much. If this is what it is, much of the joy I did not feel at all. I have to confess that, because it was so painful, so laborious, and it was very regimental, and I could not enjoy that. But as I grew up, in my teens, and when I started performing, when I started getting appreciated by people, and then the joy of performing on the stage, that experience was very different. That was absolutely a different thing.
Now my mother is 85 years old. She's still singing, and she's teaching a few, because she is in touch with music.
It's very interesting to do this trip with my mom and my daughter. I saw, in a way, I saw myself in her. Completely fascinated by this culture that I'm not familiar with, and hoping that she would soon understand how significant and how valuable this experience is.
There's no money in class.
There's no money.
True.
And then they say, we want 5 dancers, we want live musicians, but they don't want to pay.
Yeah.
How do you do it? We should do a big festival of Mohiniyattam. Only Mohiniyattam.
Yes.
New choreographies or some with a big bang we should do.
We actually wanted to meet Killimangalam sir, Is he there?
He remember everything, even at 84 now.
I know, he's 84.
Still he remembers very vividly.
And he gave me some very valuable information on Mohiniyattam. He said, Bharati, very supportive. He is supportive, very, very knowledgeable. And he was, during the time when Kalamandalam was...
The contemporary of Ballator.
Yes.
Hello, Bharati Shivaji. How are you, sir? I'm in Kalamandalam right now. Absolutely. So I'm just coming, sir. I'm warning you. I'm coming now. I'm very happy.
അത് വേണ്ട ഇത് മതി
ഇങ്ങോട്ടേക്കാ കിളിമംഗലം പോവാ
news? What news?
Yeah, we're carrying on, sir. Still struggling with Mohiniyattam. He guided me. His guidance was so valuable.
Not guided.
Of course, sir. Please, sir. Of course. He always support us. I used to consult him on the music. So he has all the valuable information with him about the revival of the Kerala arts. His vision, his ideas and his thoughts about how it should be, and that's a very valuable contribution.
What makes Mohiniyattam is its movements and its body.
Its lyrical quality.
Yeah, lyrical quality and all that. If that is lost, I don't know whether you can call it Mohiniyattam or not. For me, Mohiniyattam has a certain quality of movement, and how the hip and how the upper body, how much you should sway like this, or all those things. If you keep that, I'm not bothered about what kind of story or what kind of song. But once you get away from this body, the basic, and also, actually, Mohiniyattam suits more of a, kind of sinuosa, or what you say, or lasya, what is that?
Grace.
Graceful movement.
He was so modern and generous enough to think that Mohiniyattam could be danced to even non-traditional music, as long as it
doesn't lose its quality.
It doesn't lose its essence. It doesn't lose its essence. That was so remarkable and so modern of him to think like that. That really struck me. Because he could have easily been kind of cynical and said, Swan Lake type, however great that is, I don't know how that would be. He could have been skeptical. But he was so generous to say, yes, it can be danced to any kind of music as long as its core is preserved. So that was, isn't that nice?
Absolutely.
She revolutionized Mohiniyattam in her time, over 3 decades. I think what I have tried to do is to take it from there and take it beyond that.
I can see the bubbly in Mohiniyattam. Yeah. So, Mohiniyattam is in safe hands. I'm happy to see that.